I'm not self-made, I'm God-made. Welcome to the channel. So in case you have not seen, have not heard, Kelis, yes, the global iconic singer that everybody knows, has pretty much packed up her whole entire family, her business, and moved to Africa. So let's take a look at what she's been up to.
Kelis on her 150 acres, soon to be 300 acres of land. And in the background, you see this is actually a volcano. Very rare, little known fact. So Kelis, where exactly are we at right now?
Okay, so we're in Naivasha. We're right off of Lake Naivasha. And this is Mount Longonot here. Behind this property, on the other side of the mountain, is the National Reserve. This is all privately owned land here. And it's great, yeah, because as you see, all the animals are free and they're running wild, and we're farming, and it's dope. We're building a little community out here.
Yeah, talk to us about the intent, right? We just walked and saw the farm, saw some red onions, some yellow onions. Tell us about what's happening here and what's going to be coming.
Okay, so my plan is to do an all-sustainable luxury retreat, like a resort. So along with the farming, doing agriculture, but also having a wellness space so people can come and spot up and relax. We'll have a fine dining restaurant, we'll have bungalows. It's all just about being one with nature, being out here and trying to keep it as part of the ecosystem as possible and just making it all go together. So what I learned in California, I'm bringing here, and I'm learning so much. Like I was telling you, I've learned so much about farming and just how to keep everything sort of as natural and using all the natural resources with the animals and all of it. So it's been great. So that's how I started. It was culinary school, then farm. I fell in love with farming. It was such a great experience. And then I really felt powerful. I felt like, wow, like I can actually like do this, and can I feed my family, but I can feed the people around me. Because I would grow, I didn't have a farm the way I have now here, but like, I had 54 acres in California, and I would grow like, kale and spinach, and then I would give it to all my neighbors. I would make bread, and especially COVID hit, so kind of right before I bought my farm, then COVID hit, so the whole world was shut down. I was just home. So I was giving like veggies to my family and to friends. People were coming and picking up eggs, and I was like, yo, this is like real. Like this is, especially the grocery stores were empty, and I just was like, it just made me think like, this is so powerful, right? And like, then I just started researching and thinking about like what that really looked like on a commercial level. Even if it takes a long time, it's the same. They'll be like, no, this is what you have to do. You got to do this. And so when everyone keeps giving you the same answer, you're like, oh, okay, you're not being taken for a ride. It's like, this is how you have to do it. And so then it becomes like, all right, well, this is the way to do it. This is how we do it. And they, like I said, what you don't know, people will help. And even, I'll talk to random people. They're like, did you plant this? And are you putting this around it? And, oh, no, sister, you got to put baking soda. And I was like, I did hear that. And they're like, yeah, put baking soda if you don't want those. But, little things like that. And you're just like, oh, okay. But they're always willing to help. So it makes something that could feel really daunting and new, it makes it easier because it's not like, it doesn't feel like crabs in a barrel where everyone's just like, fighting to win. It's like, they're like, we farm, it happens. You can't drive up a road in Kenya and not see someone selling some fruit or vegetables or something, right? Like there's so many things. People are they're farmers, and so it's great. Like you learn a lot just by regular conversations, I feel like.
So what's the hardest part of farming, right? Even from you learning in America to now having a farm what is the hardest? Dealing with droughts, keeping animals off your farm? Like what's the hardest part that you had to figure out?
I think I keep saying that like my farm in California was like my like training ground for this, right? Because it was smaller and I had major pests there too. So like it's just figuring out like, okay, what am I dealing with here? I think water has been a challenge. Like the
rain
borehole.
or irrigation?
No, rain is great. It rains so much here. I think getting like the borehole system, like that system is so new.
What is that?
So a borehole is like a well, right? So it's basically they're digging into the ground, and well, first you have to get like a water analysis to see if there actually is water there, right? So you'll pay someone to come, then you need a geologist to check and make sure, like see what the rock situation is. And a lot of people will say, oh, you don't need that. I did it because I just was like, I need to know like what's happening. It is an extra cost, obviously. But you need to check like if there's water there, and then you need to have someone come. And what I learned was someone will tell you like they can do it for cheaper, but you don't really necessarily want that because then your borehole's going to break down. And so essentially they come, they check the water, and then they have to dig down between 200 to 300 meters, and then they put the casing in there, and then you've got this pump that's going to bring the water up.
It's like a well.
It's like a well. Yeah, it's like a smaller well, essentially.
And it pumps up. But what is the purpose of that? To keep the crops?
It will to irrigate, and also because even if you're going to build a house there, you need water. Right? Because a lot of the land that you're going to buy is rural, right? So there's been nothing there before. So you need to make sure, because a lot of land, like I was about to sign papers on this other land, and the guy was like, you should just check. And that's when I was like, I wasn't going to do the geology, but the guy was like, you should just do it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep doing it for all the land. And I ended up doing it, and he's like, there are these massive boulders up to 7 meters down. So my farming would have been a wash.
How much water is under it? Like, does it?
It just depends, right? So like for me, right now, that first borehole that we saw that we just dug pulls up, it's like 10.4 cubic feet of water, whatever, every day, right? So then that's how we did the math. So then I know they said that amount of water, if you're continually getting that, can cover up to maybe 10 acres. Me wanting to be on the safe side, I decided to do 5, right? And then I'll put another borehole. So I know that no matter what, we'll have water. But that's also solar. So then you have to figure out if you're going to get a generator or if you're going to hook into Kenya Power, which is also an option.
You spoke to me about like how you didn't feel comfortable like putting your money anywhere where it wasn't like a black country, right? Like talk about that, like just that mindset of like, why am I continuously investing in Western society when I can help build Africa?
I mean, it's really simple, right? Like, I'm American. I'm proud of that. It is what it is, right? I never take that from anybody. That's what we are. It's at the stage right now where it's like if I'm continually investing in a place that doesn't make space for me, it just doesn't, to me, like it's not good business. It's just not, right? Even if I still live there, if I'm going to put my hard-earned money somewhere, I want to put it someplace where I can actually see it grow and I can actually see a benefit, right? Like I can do things here on the continent that I can't do in the States, right? And even like when I think about money going longer, right? And like I can actually make a real impact here with just being here, right? And my time, my money, my energy. I think about my education, my worldliness, the things that I've learned. Anywhere where I go, I like to think that like, if I'm not benefiting, I shouldn't be there, right? And so I genuinely feel that way. And being here, I'm like, I want to be of use. You know what I mean? Like I want to be. It's not about charity. It's about like being part of a culture and part of a community. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants charity. It's about like, yo, I'm here. How can I be of use? Like put me to work. Like what can I do? You know what I'm saying? So whether it's farming or just showing people that I'm here and that you can invest and make businesses. I'm building a resort on my property. Like that to me is what makes the most sense. I look at my kids. I've got these beautiful black kids, and I put so much energy and time and money and schooling into them, and then I'm going to give them to a nation just to like shit on them. It just makes no sense to me. You know what I'm saying? That's my most valuable possession are these kids, and then I'm going to just be like, okay, hope you make it. Like, do you know what I mean? Just like, why? Yeah. You know, and then I have to worry about them getting shot or getting arrested or them not. It's just like, and not that things don't happen everywhere because they do, and that's, you know, we're being realistic. But if we can just take that out of the equation, that when I walk into a place, they're not immediately hating my bloodline and my lineage and everything that I come from, everything that I stand for.
All right, so you see what Kelis has been doing in Africa. She has been moving and shaking. Kelis is the type of queen that we have to represent on this channel because everyone knows her to be the global iconic singer, right? Her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, right? But she also reinvented herself and became a chef. Yes. Went back to school, got her culinary degree, started her own business as a farmer in California, literally started selling all of her products, created a food line, cookbook, all that type of stuff. Kelis is the type of queen that we love to see and we love to show as a great example of what we are becoming on this channel. We are basically reinventing ourselves on this channel. We're stepping into our identity, right? And that's what Kelis shows. She shows that, you know, she's already walking in her identity as a queen, as a pioneer, as a trailblazer. And that's what you do when you know that that's who you are. You know, she basically said, You know, why can't I go to Africa, go take travel around the continent and see where do I want to plant my feet? And that's what she did. And she saw that Kenya had so much to offer with modern technology, the infrastructure, and the land. And so she decided to plant herself and her family in Kenya because she sees it as the future. And so she not only has she purchased land, but she's also in plans to create and build a wellness retreat, a luxury wellness retreat where she specifically says she's creating it so that Black people can come and, you know, decompress from the stress of being in America and the stress, you know, of being amongst this country that is not made for us. Is, you know, she's going over there to create a place for us, right? And she's already employing local Kenyans to work on her farm, you know, and she talks about how her farm is creating real money, you know. She's doing business over there, and she's not only employing local Kenyans, but she's creating opportunities for other Americans to invest their money in Africa, right? And so we just love to see it, Kelis doing it as a queen, and that's what we are here for. That's what we're here to do. We are here to see how other queens are doing it and see how they are walking in that financial dominion, walking in that pioneer, trailblazing spirit like Harriet Tubman, right? Yes. And we move and we're moving in the same spirit on this channel. And so this prayer is for trailblazers, landowners, and legacy builders, because that's who we are as God-made queens, God-made kings. We are trailblazers, landowners, legacy builders. We are taking possession of everything that God has already given to us. Yes, because we already know that it's ours. And so this prayer is just to go ahead and claim what is ours. So if you want to be a trailblazer, a pioneer like Kelis, hey, like I do, then I want you to pray this prayer with me, attaching your faith. Okay, let's go. God of Abraham, God of Sarah, the God who gives lands and nations as inheritance, I step into boldness today. I activate the mantle of the pioneer and the mantle of the trailblazer and the mantle of the builder of empires. I declare that I am a woman of vision, strategy, and divine wealth. I follow in the footsteps of Kelis, who dared to break the mold and take up space with power, grace, and purpose. I call for land, not just property, but territory for healing, restoration, abundance, and legacy. I command open gates in Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and every continent where my divine inheritance lies. Let the funds flow, let the partnerships appear, and let the vision become manifest. I am not afraid to be first. I am not afraid to build different. I am not afraid to take the land and leave a legacy. Boldness is my birthright. Ownership is my portion. Wealth is my witness. And destiny is my inheritance. In Jesus' name. So it is. It cannot be otherwise. All right. So I want you to leave me a comment. If you are declaring yourself to be a trailblazer and a landowner, leave me a comment and say, I'm a trailblazer. I'm a landowner. I'm a legacy builder. Come on, somebody. All right. If you enjoyed this video, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Stay royal, stay rich, and I'll catch you in the next video.